Hi guys, my name is Medintseva and you are on my crochet channel. In this video I propose to make this cool fairy dragon with me. The length of the dragon from the muzzle to the end of the tail is 42 centimeters, 17 inches. If you need a pattern in PDF format, you can purchase it in my Etsy shop, Medintseva Toys. All links can be found in the description under the video. On Etsy you can leave a review and attach a photo of your finished toy. I will be very pleased to look at your toy. You can also send a photo of your toy to me via Instagram direct. There I can also see what you did. Be sure to send a photo of the finished work and also share this video with your friends on social networks. I will be very pleased. As usual, I expect feedback from you in the form of likes and comments under this video. This will greatly help me in promoting this masterclass, and more people will be able to take advantage of and crochet such a cool dragon. I wish you a creative mood and let's get started. To crochet such a dragon, I use Himalaya Dolphin Baby yarn. In principle, you can use any yarn for crocheting, plush or non-plush, it doesn't matter. It will still turn out to be a cool fairy dragon, possibly a different size. I love using plush yarn and specifically Himalaya Dolphin Baby. That's why I show and tell you exactly about this yarn. Yellow color, number 313. Yellow color, this will be the main color of the dragon. I will make the crest and wings of our dragon green. Green color, number 331. Safety eyes, 18 mm. You can see that my eyes have slanted pupils. We will also need scissors, hook 4 mm, needle and stitch marker, filler 50 grams. We will also need some white yarn for the claws on the dragon's legs. The consumption of the main color of yarn is less than 1 skein. Perhaps someone use a whole skein. It all depends on your crocheting density. The main part of the dragon is crocheted as one piece and with virtually no sewing details. Everything as you like. We'll start making the dragon from the muzzle, then the body and tail. It all fits together as one whole. Separately, we'll crochet the legs and then sew them to the finished toy. We'll also need to separately crochet and sew the wings on the back of the dragon and the heart at the end of the tail. The main and side crests will be crocheted directly on the toy. So I hope you will be satisfied. The little fairy dragon turned out really cool and cute. So, as I already said, we start making the dragon from the muzzle and then the whole body and tail. Only after this I will show you how to crochet the legs. I will attach a video for beginners in the upper right corner where I show you in more detail and tell you how we crochet. If you watch and master that video, it's quite possible that you will be able to make such a dragon. Let's start as usual. Loop and 2 chain stitches, and in the first chain stitch we make 6 single crochets. This is the first row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the second row we make 6 increases. In each stitch there are 2 single crochets. At the end of the row there will be 12 single crochets. So I make 2 single crochets in the first stitch. This is the first increase. In the next stitch 2 single crochets. This is the second increase. In the same way we make the third increase, the fourth increase, the fifth increase, and the last, sixth increase. In the third row we make 12 increases. Also in each stitch there are 2 single crochets. At the end of the row there will be 24 single crochets. From the 4th to the 6th row inclusive, 3 rows, we make 24 single crochets in each row. These 3 rows are done. Be sure to turn it right side out. In the 7th row, we make 4 single crochets and 1 decrease. And do this until the end of the row. We can do this 4 times. At the end of the row there will be 20 single crochets. That is, we crochet the entire row in a combination, 4 single crochets, and after that we make 1 decrease. If anyone needs it, I'll attach a video about the decreases in the upper right corner. I make decreases through front loop. The first decrease has been made. Again we make 4 single crochets and 1 decrease. This is the second time. Again we make 4 single crochets and 1 decrease. This is the third time. And the last time we repeat the combination, 4 single crochets and 1 decrease. This is the fourth time. In the 8th row, we make 5 increases at the beginning of the row. Immediately starting from the first stitch, we begin to make increases. 1 single crochet is made and we put a marker. Mark to the beginning of the row. In the same stitch, we make the second single crochet. This is the first increase. We need to make 5 increases, so we continue further. In the next stitch, 2 single crochets. This is the second increase, the third increase. In the next stitch we make the fourth increase and the last fifth increase. This is what crochet looks like now. 5 increases at the beginning of the 8th row are made. To the end of the row we need to make 15 single crochets. We simply make 1 single crochet in each stitch. At the end of the row there will be 25 single crochets. We complete these 15 single crochets to the end of the row ourselves. The 8th row is done. The 9th row. At the beginning of the row, the combination is 1 single crochet and 1 increase, and we'll do this 5 times. Make 1 single crochet. Oh, I need to remove the marker so it doesn't get in the way. 1 single crochet is made and we mark the beginning of the row with marker. In the next stitch we make 1 increase. This is the first time. Again 1 single crochet and in the next stitch 1 increase. This is the second time. 1 single crochet and 1 increase is the third time. 1 single crochet and 1 increase is the fourth time. 1 single crochet and 1 increase, this is the fifth time. This is how beautiful it turns out. Until the end of the 9th row, we make 15 single crochets. The 9th row is ready. This is what crocheting looks like now. In the 10th row, we make 4 single crochets and 1 increase, and do this until the end of the row. We can do this 6 times. At the end of the row there will be 36 single crochets. From the 11th to the 15th row inclusive, we make 36 single crochets in each row. That is, we will need to crochet 5 rows without changes. We crochet these rows ourselves. Ready. You can see the dragon's muzzle emerging. Beauty, I really like it. Now I'll tell you and show you where the eyes are inserted. The eyes are inserted between the 8th and 9th rows. Let me remind you, at the beginning of the 8th row, we made 5 increases, and at the beginning of the 9th row, we make 1 single crochet and 1 increase. We count from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At the beginning of the 8th row, the increases are clearly visible, such V-shaped ticks. We find these 5 increases. In the 9th row, we find 1 single crochet and 1 increase. The increases are also clearly visible. The eyes are inserted between the 8th and 9th rows. On the right, the eye is inserted before the increase. On the left, the eye is inserted after the increase. You can also find the beginning of the row as a git. Here the 8th row began with an increase, 5 increases in a row at the beginning of the row. Count 5 increases, and after the last increase, insert the right eye of the dragon. Insert an eye between the 8th and 9th rows. To make it easier to insert the eye, I made a small hole using a hook. The eye mount is quite thick. The first eye is inserted. Here in the 8th row, 5 increases, and in the 9th row, we did 1 single crochet and 1 increase 5 times. After the increases between the 8th and 9th rows, we insert the second eye. Now we need to fasten the eyes from the inside. If you have normal eyes, then we simply fasten them from the inside. If you have eyes with slanted pupils, you can adjust where your eyes look. You can put the pupils up. You can also position the pupils so that they are directed inward. Everyone does it to your own taste. These eyes fasten very easily. You don't need to put in much effort. You need to press down a little and the eyes snap shut. I click it 1 time. The first eye is fastened. Now we need to do the same with the second eye. One click occurred. The eye was fastened. The eyes are inserted. Beauty. Let's continue further. In the 16th row, we make 4 single crochets and 1 decrease, and do this until the end of the row. We can do this 6 times. At the end of the row there will be 30 single crochets. The 16th row is done. This is what the head of the future dragon looks like now. Beauty. The 17th row. At the beginning of the row, 1 single crochet and 1 decrease, and do this 5 times. 1 single crochet and 1 decrease. Is the first time. 1 single crochet and 1 decrease is the second time. 1 single crochet and 1 decrease is the third time. 1 single crochet and 1 decrease is the fourth time. 1 single crochet and 1 decrease is the fifth time. We complete 15 single crochets to the end of the row. We simply make 1 single crochet in each stitch. The 17th row is ready. In the 18th row, we make 5 decreases at the beginning of the row. Insert the hook into the first and second stitches and make the first decrease. We rearrange the marker and thus mark the beginning of the row. Now we make the second decrease. The third decrease. The fourth decrease. And the last fifth decrease. 5 decreases in a row have been made. To the end of the row we make 15 single crochets. We simply make 1 single crochet in each stitch. The 18th row is done. This is what crochet looks like now. In the 19th row, we make 3 single crochets and 1 decrease, and so on until the end of the row. We can do this 4 times. At the end of the row there will be 16 single crochets. In the 20th row, we make 16 single crochets. These rows are done. This is what the dragon's head looks like now. At this stage we need to add filler to the head. Add enough filler to form a nice dragon head shape. The filler is completely added to the head. This is what the head looks like from all sides. You can apply a little pressure with your fingers on the eyes to compress the head. This is how beautiful it turned out. In the 21st row, we make 3 single crochets and 1 increase, and do this until the end of the row. We can do this 4 times. At the end of the row there will be 20 single crochets. The 21st row is done. In the 22nd row we make 4 single crochets and 1 increase, and do this until the end of the row. We can do this 4 times. At the end of the row there will be 24 single crochets. This row is also done. You can see how beautiful it is. We have already started making the dragon's body. In the 23rd row we make 5 single crochets and 1 increase, and do this until the end of the row. We can do this 4 times. At the end of the row there will be 28 single crochets. This row is done. In the 24th row we make 6 single crochets and 1 increase, and do this until the end of the row. We can do this 4 times. At the end of the row there will be 32 single crochets. The 24th row is done. A little more filler added. As we crochet, we will gradually add filler. In the 25th row, we make 7 single crochets and 1 increase, and do this until the end of the row. We can do this 4 times. At the end of the row, there will be 36 single crochets. The 25th row is ready. This is what crocheting looks like now. In the 26th row, we make 8 single crochets and 1 increase, and do this until the end of the row. We can do this 4 times. At the end of the row there will be 40 single crochets. From the 27th to the 34th row inclusive, 8 rows, we make 40 single crochets in each row. These rows are done. We have already made half of the dragon's body. From the next row we begin to make decreases. In the 35th row we make 2 single crochets and 1 decrease, and so on until the end of the row. We can do this 10 times. At the end of the row there will be 30 single crochets. The 35th row is done. Filler added. This is how beautiful it should be. In the 36th row, we make 6 decreases at the beginning of the row. Six decreases in a row at the beginning of the 36th row. Six decreases have been made. To the end of the row we make 18 single crochets. The 36th row is ready. In the 37th row we make 3 decreases at the beginning of the row. Three decreases at the beginning of the row are made. To the end of the row we make 18 single crochets. The 37th row is done. This is what our future dragon looks like now. In the 38th row, we make 2 decreases at the beginning of the row. You can rearrange the marker to avoid confusion. I made the first decrease and rearranged the marker to control myself. This is the second decrease. And now we make 17 single crochets to the end of the row. The 38th row is ready. In the 39th row, we make 1 decrease at the beginning of the row. We start the 39th row with 1 decrease. One decrease is made and I place the marker again. Until the end of the 39th row, we need to make 17 single crochets. This row is also done. Filler added. I show you from all sides. We can say that we have finished making the body of the dragon and will continue to crochet the tail. At this stage we begin to make the dragon's tail. From the 40th to the 42nd row inclusive, 3 rows, we make 18 single crochets in each row. We simply make 1 single crochet in each stitch. These 3 rows are done. This is what our little fairy dragon looks like now. In the 43rd row, we make 16 single crochets and 1 decrease at the end of the row. We will have 17 single crochets in the row. In the 44th row, we make 17 single crochets. These 2 rows are done. Remember that you need to add filler as you crochet. In the 45th row, we make 15 single crochets and 1 decrease at the end of the row. At the end of the row there will be 16 single crochets. In the 46th row, we make 16 single crochets. These 2 rows are also done. In the 47th row, we make 14 single crochets and 1 decrease at the end of the row. At the end of the row there will be 15 single crochets. In the 48th row, we make 15 single crochets. These 2 rows are done, filler added. Please note that you don't need to add a lot of filler to the tail. The tail should be relatively soft so that it can be bent. I bend my tail to the left. The tail holds its shape in this position even though there is no wire inside. The tail is soft enough to hold its shape when bent. In the 49th row, we make 13 single crochets and 1 decrease at the end of the row. In the 50th and 51st row, we make 14 single crochets in each row. These 3 rows are done. In the 52nd row, we make 12 single crochets and 1 decrease at the end of the row. At the end of the row there will be 13 single crochets. In the 53rd row we make 13 single crochets. These 2 rows are done, filler added. The result is a tadpole like this. In the 54th row, we make 11 single crochets and 1 decrease at the end of the row. At the end of the row there will be 12 single crochets. In the 55th and 56th row, 2 rows, we make 12 single crochets in each row. These rows are done. A little filler has been added. Let's continue further. In the 57th row, we make 10 single crochets and 1 decrease at the end of the row. At the end of the row there will be 11 single crochets. In the 58th and 59th row, we make 11 single crochets in each row. These rows are done. As always, remember that you need to add filler. In the 60th row, we make 9 single crochets and 1 decrease at the end of the row. At the end of the row there will be 10 single crochets. In the 61st and 62nd row, 2 rows, we make 10 single crochets in each row. These rows are done, filler added. In the 63rd row, we make 8 single crochets and 1 decrease at the end of the row. At the end of the row there will be 9 single crochets. Rows 64 and 65. We make 9 single crochets in each row. These rows are ready, filler added. We continue to crochet the tail. In the 66th row, we make 7 single crochets and 1 decrease at the end of the row. There will be 8 single crochets in the row. In the 67th and 68th row, we make 8 single crochets in each row. These rows are done, filler added. In the 69th row, we make 6 single crochets and 1 decrease at the end of the row. At the end of the row there will be 7 single crochets. In the 70th and 71st row, we make 7 single crochets in each row. Ready, filler added. You can see the tail getting thinner and thinner. Beauty. This is very little left. In the 72nd row, we make 5 single crochets and 1 decrease at the end of the row. There will be 6 single crochets in the row. In the 73rd and 74th row, we make 6 single crochets in each row. These rows are done. I also added some filler here. I used a hook to help push the filler inside. We have 2 rows left to do. In the 75th row, we make 4 single crochets and 1 decrease at the end of the row. There will be 5 single crochets in the row, and in the 76th row, we make 5 single crochets. These rows are also done. I also add quite a bit of filler to this end of the tail. I help myself push it with a crochet hook. I take 1 ball of filler and push it through with the hook. This will be enough. Here we make a slip stitch into the next stitch. Cut the thread. Pull and tighten the thread. Using a hook, I pull the thread through the adjacent stitch and then tie a knot. Now we hide the end of the thread inside the dragon's tail. something doesn't work for me here. But before tying the knot, I pulled the thread to the side of the tail. Here we also straight the thread along the tail. Here we make one more knot. After that, I hide the end of the thread inside the dragon's tail. Ready. This is the dragon's body we got. At this stage I don't bend the tail yet. The tail must remain straight so that you can even crochet the main crest. This is exactly what we will do at the next stage. This is the beauty we got. I really like everything. You can see what beautiful shapes were achieved with this crochet pattern. Now we will crochet this main central crest, which starts on the head and ends at the end of the tail. When crocheting this crest, the most important thing is to always make sure that the crest is made in the middle. The rows in the toy are uneven, so you should always make sure that you are crocheting the crest exactly in the middle. We won't be able to crochet a crest one row at a time. When creating each wave in the crest, you should always make sure that you are crocheting exactly in the middle. This is how I managed to crochet the main crest of the first dragon. We will deal with this in the next part. I wish you a wonderful mood. Bye bye.